Hello and welcome to another video for the Nerds with Attitudes YouTube channel, and this time we are doing Mega Man playthrough. So guys, say hello.
This is Jimmy.
Back in the day.
This is Bet. So Mega Man playthrough. Jimmy, this is one of the harder Mega Mans.
I guess. I mean, it's hard, but it's not. Like, I still think Mega Man 9 is the toughest one, but this one for like someone who's never played a Mega Man probably won't have an easy time with it. I personally think 2 is a lot easier of a ride than this game is.
Oh hell yeah, 2 is way easier compared to this one. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the sequence where we think is the easiest to take. But as you can see right off the bat, these moving platforms, this is pretty damn hard to be like a first stage.
Mistakes will be made. This is not. You're not going to go through this untouched of making some egregious error of fucking up, and you'll see that even we have egregious errors of fucking up on some of these things. This one was one of the clean runs, but in the practice runs they were not as forgiving. But no, this game is. I mean, I got to admit, this was one of the games I never beat on the NES when it came to the Mega Man series. I've always been a big fan of the Mega Man series, as big a pain in the ass these games are. Jimmy being the
Mega Man connoisseur here.
Yeah, I'd say the foremost authority on Mega Man when it comes to beating these games all the way through.
For
our group, I'd say he's the one. Just seeing the sequencing as he showed. See, there's the egregious
Look,
error.
I went through the fucking platforms without dying, then I slipped on that one.
Then we had to do the platforms again.
Yeah. So errors can be made. Like, it's a simple mistake people make. I mean, this is obviously Bet's running through on this one. I only run one level. Jimmy basically carries the group.
See, I never got to play this when it actually came out. See, I started with Mega Man 2, and then once I was like, wow, Mega Man 2 is such an awesome game, where's part 1? I went and found it like at a video, again showing my age on this one, found it at a video store for rental, and over the course of like I think 2 weekends I finally managed to beat the first one. But I never owned the game, and I honestly hadn't played it till Jose brought up here, hey, we want to record Mega Man, so I actually downloaded it for my 3DS and went back and started plugging away at it again. I was like, God,
I love that drop.
Did you see
I'm
right
sorry.
there?
Yeah,
I love that drop. I'm sorry.
The game was being a dick because it didn't respawn
Give him
the
the
fucking platform.
And that's what these games are notorious about. People may never understand with Nintendo games is that was notorious for things like that. It wasn't. There wasn't a sequence where you knew it was going to run. It would do things like that where it would just decide to glitch and the platform wouldn't show up, or it would come out of sequence, what we believe is the sequence, to be quote unquote.
No,
What we believe
it's
to be the sequence.
yeah, because by gaining the enemy's powers, the enemies have weaknesses to it. So we went around the route where we knew which one had the weakness.
It's comparative match of in the order, again, believed to be the easiest order. And after playing through it, you can see that yes, this was the easiest order. So we started with Gutsman.
Gutsman stage.
Yeah.
I personally think to me, this is the good starter stage, because honestly, the stage is a little rough just because that platform section, but the rest of it is pretty easy. And Gutsman, in my opinion, is probably the easiest one to take down with just the Mega Buster, the pea shooter. He's really easy to take down with the Buster. It's not difficult.
Yeah, the most difficult part of this stage is obviously the platform section. Once you get past that, it is pretty much clean sailing, as long as you drop down the correct tunnels, or you fuck up. So yeah, the middle is probably the obviously, as you can see, the best way.
Yeah, if you can fall through the middle platform, you can get that one up.
And see, right here, we're already pretty much at the end.
And here, yeah, this guy's a douchebag. Sometimes he jumps high, sometimes he does that little hop.
They're like the door guardians in this game. There's always one in front of every single boss door. And this was something odd for all the other Mega Mans. Like, usually when you go through those doors, you're right at the boss. For some reason, in part 1, they added these stupid little extra sections.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why.
This is the shortest stage, too. I've never seen a shorter stage than Gutsman stage.
Yeah, it is pretty quick, I gotta admit. And then again, he's just the simplest one to beat. He does, as long as you stay up on the rocks, you're fairly safe.
See, honestly, this guy could have been tough if he threw a rock every time he jumped. This guy could have been tough. But look, I mean, he went it's almost like 1 in every 3 jumps. It feels like he bothers to throw a rock. That was an exception because he did it back to back. But I mean, he doesn't always chuck those rocks, and the only thing that he does is the earthquake stuns you. So you just keep on shooting, and not to mention he takes off so much life per hit. It's really easy to stay ahead of this guy even with the regular gun. I know this is where he jumped on you, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
He jumped on
the only
you.
time he got on.
Yeah, I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
He's being a
I
dick.
didn't want it.
Well, because he got stunned that one motion, and that's what even the computer just finally made a move on him. But for the most part, as you can see, if you stay on the rocks, you're pretty much safe. He'll jump, you avoid the damage. That's all you got to do to beat him. It's not very difficult. That's why he's the easiest one.
If
to
he
start
doesn't
with.
leave that little rock area, just go on the other side.
And then
Pretty much.
the obvious next move is to cut man.
And also, I would say again, if you Cutman stage is also like a close contender for like a first stage to go on. His stage is fairly easy, and Cutman himself is not terribly difficult to take down with the cannon.
No.
But I think Gutsman is much easier. Plus, Gutsman's power has a lot of uses, so you actually want to pick that up as early as possible, in my view.
This is the stage I ran through, just because it was deemed to me as the easiest one that I couldn't fuck up. And you know what? I don't take offense to it, because again, this was one of those games that I've always loved Mega Man, but these games drive me nuts. If you don't know the right sequencing to fight the bosses, you can rip your hair out. I mean, honestly, it's one of those games you have to know the sequencing, or you're just gonna be miserable. You're gonna pick the wrong one, you're gonna get stuck there, you're gonna run through all your lives, you're gonna run out of lives, you're gonna run out of continues, you have to start over.
Yeah, at least this game gives you continues. It doesn't give you the password yet. They start doing that in Mega Man 2, but at least they give you. Is it unlimited continues?
I believe so, yeah. It starts at the beginning of the stage, but yeah, I believe it's infinite continues.
Yeah, but see, there's the problem though. If you've already picked the wrong path, the continue ain't gonna help you. You're just gonna
you
sit there
you can go back to the stage select screen if you really struggle on one stage and just go off and try again.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I was holding my own on this one. I wasn't making too many mistakes. Again, I got Jimmy in my ear telling me what to do, which is fine. I don't care. Anything and everything helps. But this was actually a pretty easy stage, I got to admit.
Yeah, this stage is pretty straightforward, I think. It might be the easiest stage.
It's just a lot of avoidance. That's all it is. I mean, if you just get the timing down, it's just a lot of damage avoidance, just moving up the ladders. These you don't even have to worry about. They're not going to hit you. You just keep trucking. Every time you see one of those big metal crates, and it's just... Well, that was just out of spite.
Yeah, and those little capsule things, they're just points.
Points,
Yeah, which
points multipliers, which just seems so stupid.
Yeah, they took it out. They
This
didn't.
is the only game they actually had a score on. The only Mega Man that had a scorekeeper on it.
But, I mean, yeah, and I understood why they took it out later, because it really didn't have any impact on anything.
It didn't really serve much of a point or purpose in my view.
Still, I mean, but I guess it was just one of those things Capcom wanted to put a point counter in.
And again, think of the time period and the tradition. Like everyone, like most games, again, like that was like the rule. You had to have some kind of scorekeeper kind of thing.
Right.
It was kind of an exception if you saw a game that didn't have some kind of, scorekeeper.
Yeah, because you wanted to have something to be able to hold up to somebody else, and that was the only way at this point.
You kick your friends in the balls,
Yeah, but
Like, hey,
Again, how many of these games were based on arcade games too? So they naturally, gonna
have a high score.
Have to have a high score, so it's gonna have
Yeah.
some kind of scorekeeper on there.
That's always been the thing, but
little tidbit about Mega Man. The reason why it was blue was because the Nintendo Color Palette, there was more blues, more shades of blues. So I guess they wanted more detail for Mega Man, and that's why it's blue.
It worked out. I mean, I still think the sprite design on this game is still spectacular.
For its time, it was one of the best.
he's still Mega Man's still one of the most iconic Nintendo characters. Next to, honestly, I think he's one of the up there with Mario.
It's a shame
Everyone knows him.
It's a shame that the company who freaking spawned him has treated him so fucking poorly in the past few
Capcom?
years. Yeah, oh hell yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, in the beginning, because in the beginning, they promoted this character a lot because the games were very popular. But yeah, once Street Fighter came in,
Capcom kind of bailed on him.
it was all Ryu after that.
Yeah.
And I mean, they tried to do other, they did the X series, they've done other games, but it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like how I felt about some of the older NES games, like Castlevania in particular comes to mind. Like, they just never really transitioned to 3D very well, and I honestly feel if it's not broken, don't fix it. Keep them 2D, they work just as good.
Yeah, I mean, Mega Man went to Mega Man Legends, but they were still taking out games. Was it one X1, 2, and 3?
I mean,
right?
The X series, I want to say, went up all the way to like 8 or 9, but the only ones I only played X1 and X2. I can stand by those. Those are excellent Mega Man games. Friends have told me that X3 is pretty good, but I heard I only played one of the PlayStation 2 ones, and I thought it was just an utter fucking turd. It was just insulting to the series. And according to friends who I know who have played the other X games on the PlayStation 2, say that, oh, there's really not a good X game on the PlayStation at all.
Kind of disappointing though.
And there he just
I
killed
didn't have enough
himself.
life. Look, it was just one of those things where you walked into it. I knew I was gonna do well.
So you're supposed to use the
Suicide.
Guts Man power so you can pick up those blocks.
The blocks that are just below you, and I as you will see, I do follow the directions on what I was supposed to do. I activate the power and I do attack him with it. But
Is this the one where like it
yeah,
barely misses?
Don't ruin this. This is actually kind of ironic and funny and horrible at the same time. Now I do what I'm supposed to do. Once I start getting in place, once I start jumping on my ass.
Yeah, so pick up the
The
block.
stone and I missed.
You
Perfectly
missed.
sailed over
I
his
know, I
head.
missed. But the second one hit him hard, and then I just, I do what I was supposed to. I just started attacking him. You'll see a very interesting little glitch that takes place to me. Yeah, I get smoked right at the end.
Yes, the weapon hits still count even after their death.
Yeah, and the only reason I couldn't dodge it was because the game freezes for a brief second after you kill the boss. Well, you can't react when you're that close, and that's what ends up killing me.
I actually thought it was pretty cool that he did that to you.
It was, I know. The downside though is the blocks are gone.
Like the double KO in Street Fighter or
Right?
something.
Yeah. Seriously, it was like old school.
Killed you
double KO.
posthumously.
And unfortunately, you had to take on Cutman with just the freaking
Yeah, with
KO.
no. But in my defense, I did well. I took him out.
And see again, if you're watching this again,
Just
Cutman
jump.
isn't that much harder than Gutsman either.
I think he's easier than
Oh, I think
Gutsman
he is.
actually. And he didn't need to
really
use the
didn't need the
Gutsman
power.
power, but
It just makes it effortless.
It
If
just
you
makes it faster if you can nail him.
you connect with both blocks, he dies instantly. So.
So this is where
This is when
Jimmy takes over.
No, you did electric.
Oh no, I did it. Yeah.
No, you did
I
like
thought Jimmy did.
No, I did it.
There's still bits.
Okay, because I know I only did one stage, and that was Cutman. After that, I was out. And cool, because I beat a stage.
Yeah, right here you can cut these guys down, and you might want to do that. You just need a Gutsman's
Cut blade.
power.
If you don't have the cut blade, the electric beam also works very effective. Well, really, I think almost all the weapons do, but ideally, cut blade and the electric beam work just fine on those guys because you can't use the regular pea shooter. All it does is freeze them, so that doesn't really help you much. So you're better
gotta be able
off.
to
You're
kill
better off just killing those things as soon as you see them because they're just gonna be constantly getting in your way.
They're gonna be your worst nightmare if you don't cut them down.
They're quite difficult.
Same applies here. Just imagine if you didn't have the Gutsman.
Oh, dude,
You'd-
you'd be fucked. That's what I mean. About
You'd
going
have
the wrong
to
way.
you'd have to shoot him real quick.
And jump to the next
yeah.
platform, shoot the other one, jump to the next platform, just basically doubling your work right there. Never a fun
This one wasn't too hard either.
A lot of it's just
Well, I mean,
timing.
if you know the sequence and everything, but right here, very important that you shoot these things down.
They'll knock you right off the ladder, and then you're gonna go back to the lower screen.
As
Just
you will
start
see later.
all over again.
So you gotta nail
The
it.
alternative to not shooting them is you have to dodge their little lasers, and you need like
Oh, this is
Perfect
the
spacing.
section
Yeah.
where you
Perfect
have
spacing
to
for
block.
that. Now, okay, I know Capcom will never listen to this, but for God's sakes, get rid of these fucking block puzzles. I have hated these from day fucking one. And this is a simple one. This is an easy one. I hate these block puzzles. Absolutely hate them.
That's what happens when you try and speed the process up.
Yeah.
By the way, you cannot speed this one up. You have to go in sequence, or that will happen. There is no fast way through that.
I sense another letter from Jimmy.
Get rid of the fucking block puzzle. I want to say almost every Mega Man's had at least one stage
I'm
where they had those
Yeah.
stupid fucking block puzzles.
They like to put those in because it irritates everybody. That's half the fun.
Well, the thing though is, in the latter ones like 2 and 3, they give you rush, and I use rush many times, especially in Heatman stage.
Oh yeah, I've only at the very end of Heatman stage, I think I've only done that block puzzle straight up like once or twice. I almost always use that rocket sled to fly over the whole fucking thing. Why do it if you don't have to? And it's nasty because the thing I hate about these block puzzles is most of them, like most of the bad ones, they literally require leaps of faith. You gotta jump at just the right moment, otherwise you're just gonna fall through air or the block is gonna come out from under you. That's what made those puzzles just so hair-tearing. And even worse, when you fell, you had to start from scratch.
Yeah, right.
Go through the whole block sequence again.
Right there. Yeah, don't attempt to get the life.
There's no point. And then on this one, remember to go on the inside. Don't go to the outside. You can go to the outside, but it is a lot less taxing if you just do the inside one. Because again, you have to deal with those, and if you don't.
Yeah, the only thing is save a little Cutman power.
Yeah,
but
there's really no point in going on the outside.
That's not really too bad anyway, considering that Electric Man, he only needs 3 hits from the cut blade.
Electric Man he doesn't need that much.
That's what I'm saying. It's just easier to go that direction. And now this item on the screen that you see behind those blocks, that is probably the most important item you can grab out of this stage.
You need to grab it.
You have to have
You have to acquire it before you get the Wily stages, otherwise you can't even get past the first.
That's very important. Make sure you get it. Make sure you go to the Gutsman stage first, get the Gutsman power, and make sure you grab that item because you're gonna need it.
You can't progress.
Plus, it's very useful later on.
As you will see, Jimmy, who is the master of that item.
Jimmy will explain to you how to use this item.
It'll be better explained when we get to Iceman stage. But
when we get to that,
honestly, I was a little bit surprised when you said you never really messed with that thing.
I didn't know what it was.
I don't even know what it's called. Honestly, is it the M Power, or I just call it the Platform Maker. You'll see what I mean in a sec here, but
it looked like a screw or a key or something. I didn't even know what the hell that
it
did.
It looks like a screw gun. It doesn't look like anything else. But it is probably the most important item you can acquire in this game. In order to beat the game with little to no problems, to beat it, you have to have it to beat the game.
Yeah, you have to get it here regardless, but if used properly, you can skip so much bullshit in this game. So much crap you can just completely bypass with that power.
Which you will see. And again, Jimmy will walk through the correct usage.
See, that one time I went underneath, so it's like he jumps at random.
Yeah,
the best way to go about it is just go underneath it if you can. If you get hit, then, fuck it, whatever.
This is another little annoying sequence right here.
Yeah, you just gotta time it, and you just gotta wait.
Take a zap, fall to the bottom. Or at least one screen down at any rate.
Yeah, and it's just gonna slow you down even further.
And this is the only boss ever that you would come from underneath it. I thought it was odd that
level design they don't really do this too often. I think they've done it on Wily stages and stuff, but I really can't remember too many Megamans that did that. But here's Electric Man, not hard, 3 hits, cut blade, side.
Not hard, but that
beam hurts.
That beam does a lot of damage.
As you can see in his life gauge, it dropped pretty fast when he hit him. Have you ever tried using Gutsman power against him?
Yeah, but I think it only takes off like maybe a half or 2/3 of his life.
So you are just better off using the Cutman blade.
Yeah, that wipes his ass out in a heartbeat. So is this one I take over?
Iceman,
okay.
because then this is
that's right, Iceman.
Here's the instructions when using the M power. Jimmy will
It'll come up here in just a sec, but as you'll see in a second, if you know how to utilize the power properly, this is me trying to get used to the fucking controls. I was like, wait a second, what's the shoot button? Fuck. Finally getting my rhythm here.
Alright. And his refusal to use the auto fire.
Yeah, I was using the turbo.
Habit, but okay, so this is just I didn't even have to do. It's just more like I was trying to show Jose an example of how to use this thing. If you hold down the button, it just keeps making platforms, and you can just run across them, and you can literally stretch the platform to the complete opposite end of the screen. I mean, any large gap you can just bypass with that ability. It just makes it effortless at this point. Once you get that ability, it's so freaking simple to get past some gnarly stuff in this game.
And even though, and again, for clarification, it looks like it may not be there, but it's just flashing because the screen's being overloaded.
That's what confused me when it first...
Yeah, I was in the same boat when Jimmy was showing us. I was like, how does this actually function properly? He ends up showing us later.
And see here, right here, these block look at this. Right here's a leap of faith.
Jump.
Leap of faith. See, you had to know exactly when to jump on these block puzzles. I had just memorized it, frankly.
Now the counter is what he does here, using...
Yeah, why bother doing it when you can freaking bypass the bullshit?
Yeah. Instead of fighting with these stupid puzzles...
Oh yeah, I was like, oops.
Yeah,
but yeah, see right here, why do the puzzle? Boop! Go right over the top. Wow, that was hard.
Yeah, it flashes on the screen looking like it's disappearing, but
for me,
it's not.
this part was just...
But see what I mean? Here, another bullshit section. Just bypass all this crap. Refill my energy, wash, rinse, and repeat.
This was a hair-pulling right here for me,
Well, this would
because
just be unbearable if you didn't know how to use that.
sometimes they don't spawn though. That was the whole thing. And if you get hit, you're automatically gonna fall.
See, I remember I was waiting for him to come down, but I just said, fuck it, I'm moving. It's like, I'm going. You gotta be fast, though, because, again, if you take a hit here, it's like, ooh, you're really gonna be really on the edge there. But, yeah, again, that whole sequence, I passed. And then I didn't have to touch the platforms if I didn't want to. Easy peasy.
Yeah, that platform power is pretty cool. I gotta admit, that made running through some of these stages, as you'll see later, just so easy to just bypass so much of the BS. Not have to sit there and fight with it.
Yeah, I could sit there, but doesn't matter.
So you circumvented about 3/4 of the stage just by using the platform.
Yeah.
Which was still pretty entertaining.
This is Iceman.
So his weakness is the electric beam. Here's a simple 1, 2, 3. I'll show you right now. Switch the electric beam. Jump and fire. Fire on the ground, and fire on the ground a second time. Bye-bye. That's simple. Yeah, and dodge the icicles because they do damage you.
Remember to dodge the icicles. Again, don't do what I did. They can kill you after death. Like a joke from The Simpsons. You watch out for that skunk. They tend to go off even after they're dead.
Yeah, so see, we're going through the sequence, and as you can see, the bosses have been fairly easy. Just because we're using the correct power to kill them. Fireman, this was another one. God, a lot of hair-pulling moments in this one, too, for me, because I didn't know how to use that beam correctly.
It's probably the most useful item that most people would probably not even think about. And later in the Wily stages, you find out how unbelievably important it was to have that, because there's a sequence where you can't advance without it.
Because honestly, even when I beat the game the first time, like, there's a section in the first Wily stage that you have to use it. I just only used it for that section, because I barely utilized it when I was a kid when I first played it, but when I downloaded it for my 3DS and really started mucking around with the game, I was like, wow, this freaking ability is ridiculous. Like, here, another perfect example of it right here. Why go through the flames when you can avoid all of them?
These horizontal beams. See, you just went over them. See, yeah. That was hard for me.
That's where again, just the sheer genius of the item. This just running through the stage, avoiding every horrid, difficult issue that you can run into.
And the way I see it is, hey, it's not cheating. Capcom put it into the programming.
Yeah,
I'm just ruthlessly exploiting its abilities.
As I'm sure did somebody at the point when the game first came out. Somebody must have figured it out, honestly. But it's
I barely mucked with it when I was a freaking kid, just because I really didn't mess with it. I only got to rent it, so I was just trying to beat the thing as quickly as possible. And for those, like, another little trick, if you really don't like these fire flames, you can freeze them with the ice beam. You can make them solid, so you can just bypass them that way.
You do that later, though, don't you? You show how to use that later.
Well, you have to use it in one section. And the only way you can avoid taking a hit here is to pretty much use the platform maker. I keep fucking this up.
Well, because it's a spatial issue.
Yeah, there we go.
If you don't line it up just right, that was the only problem.
Usually, yeah, it's an electric beam. Well, maybe I didn't.
No, you didn't yet. Switch to it later, though, I know.
Yeah, right here. Die, little Roombas.
Yeah, that's a very useful power right there.
Of course, somehow the beam zigzagged over his ass right there.
Yeah, that's the only one that irritated me. That one just magically appeared.
And you didn't get the
I fucked that up.
You gotta drag that one a little bit.
Okay, so this is
Fireman.
Fireman. You use ice, right?
Yeah, the ice beam will cut him down in a handful of hits here. He's not too hard. Like, basically, it's easy to see we're getting into the room right here, but basically what I did is try to get to the middle of the room and you hit A and B simultaneously. That way he'll fire and jump at the same time, and he can keep avoiding all the fire blasts he sends in your direction. So you try to lure him into the middle, and hopefully, like, you jump and shoot and the fire just goes right under you. And of course the flame right there.
You gotta remember to scooch forward a little bit on that one, though. That's the one sequencing that I did notice. As he's doing that, as he jumps and fires at the same time, you either have to scooch forward or scooch back a little bit in the jump, because if you don't, the little flame's below you, and that will obviously do damage to you, so you just kind of remember to readjust after every jump.
I got lucky that little flame didn't kill me at the very
No
end.
kidding, right? And now the most useless power of them all, Bomb Man. At which point Jimmy does try and show that there is some validity to the weapon to some degree, but still, it's the most worthless of them all.
And you won't see it until the last Wily stage.
I mean, he is.
Bomb Man is worthless. Bomb Man's
really
power is
is.
useless. It's
I mean,
utterly
and the
useless.
stage is pretty straightforward. You could run this one pretty quickly, as you'll see. Jimmy flies through this stage. He even
Here's a little
flies
trick
through the
right here.
boss.
Basically, just stay at that one spot, wait for the bombs to pass, and just jump over. Every single time, you'll be safe as long as you're in that little crook right
Yeah,
there.
you gotta be on that first jump, on that little ledge. But other than that, like I said, he is just honestly probably the most useless. Man, it was honestly just like I couldn't believe how simple he was to beat.
Bomb Man?
Yeah, of all the bosses that we ran into in this game, I was like, my God, really?
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, Fireman's power cuts him down pretty fast, so it's like, I mean, he would probably be my like distant third of like, you know, I can easily beat him with the regular pea shooter.
Yeah, I would think he
because
would
his
be-
pattern is not terribly
yeah.
difficult, but really his power is utterly useless. The only thing it's good for is Guts Man, and that's it. It has
Which you
no
can beat
use.
Gutsman without it.
And I hate these shield guys, so I just freeze them and jump over them. I don't care if I take a hit. I hate fighting them. Any Mega Man where those shielded guys have shown up, they're always a pain in the ass.
And remember, when you shoot those things, don't get close.
Yeah.
Don't let them get close to you because it is a bomb, as you see right there. You do want to keep some spatial distance with them, or avoid them as much as
Maybe
possible.
avoid them, probably the best.
Well, I mean, it is easier to avoid them, but there was a couple points where Jimmy had no choice. He had to
So
shoot the
it's
damn
like
thing.
exploding bullet.
Yeah, classic Medusa head pattern right there.
Oh
Wavy
God,
lines.
Medusa. The Medusa head.
This level
This
is.
one, this screen just got to run like hell. Get up there and just go.
Yeah, you don't want to dick around on that one.
I got a little nervous here. I hate
Yeah, I'm gonna
this
say.
spot. Yeah, I think I used the platform.
Yeah,
right
I'm gonna say, yeah, you did.
there. Again, why take risks if you don't have
Yeah,
to?
I mean, again, this is the simplest way to get out of the stage. That's just
I
utterly.
almost did die though. I was like,
Yeah,
oh
no.
shit. You gotta pick
So
a
what you
hit
do
there.
is you hold the fire button.
Yeah, you hold the fire button till you can get it to whatever length you desire, and then you let it go and just start running across the platform. Keep in mind, again, once you let go of the B button, you only got, I don't know how many seconds, maybe 5. So you basically just keep making more platforms and keep stacking them on top of each other. You can just keep on walking, keep on floating by.
See, that's the only irritating thing about those guys with the shields too. If you noticed, even while he was shooting them, you really can't see it. They're not flashing or anything like that, where the
Yeah.
other enemies should to show some level of damage taking place
It's
on
hard
them.
to
So
tell.
it really is dicey to know if you are hitting them or not. So just be wary when you run into those guys.
That's why I use the electric beam, because it's the only one I've seen that can at least take them down fast, like 3 hits and they're gone. I always love fucking around with the electric beam just because it goes in 3 directions, so this is just me fucking around.
But it's useful though, because in the end you don't have to. You could drop,
Yeah, but you're gonna take.
but you're gonna take hits, and why take hits when you don't need to?
So here's
So here
Bomb
comes
Man.
Bomb Man. The most-
He's really not that hard. The best thing to do is put on the firepower and just keep your distance and just let the fireball that it shoots take him out. Avoid the bombs. It's really not that tough.
And your shield that is generated from it as well. If he gets close enough, will actually help your ass too.
And I mean, look, I was with less than half life and I still had plenty left over. He's not
He only
that
took like
tough.
what, 2 hits?
Well, more than that, but it's like 5 or 6. But 5 or 6 hits is not a lot for this game.
So pretty much, yeah, just to follow that sequence. It's not that hard. And next is Wily's Castle.
Now this is the furthest I've ever even seen of this game, so this was kind of cool for me, having not gotten a lot of time on that. To see this part of the game was really cool, because again, I hadn't gotten that far. This was all new to me. Seeing the Wily stages was really cool.
He calls his fucking UFO ship like he always does.
Albert Einstein, guys.
Gives us the eyebrows. Coming to get you, you German bastard.
Shave Wily's head, and you'll find the swastika on the back of it.
Oh God.
Little bastard. Here goes. This is where the stage just gets kind of.
Yeah, and just you can freeze them with the ice. Once you get the Iceman power,
It's so much
They're
easier
easy,
to
yeah.
deal with those things than sitting there trying to frontal assault them. Just freeze their ass and just
And
attack them.
I can assure you, these enemies probably do more damage from like direct contact than just about any other enemy in the game. You take like 3 or 4 hits from those things, you're dead. They'll knock off almost a third of your life if you take a direct hit.
That's why it's so frustrating to have them at right near the end.
Yeah, right. When you think you're in the home stretch and then the damn thing appears and you already know you're fucked. But as you see, like the easiest way to do this is yes, freeze them and keep moving forward.
If you don't have it, sometimes you just, hope and pray, or just, more often than not, if I can't take them down, I just take the hit and get past them, because you can't just bypass them, just run past them. I got lucky on that. You have to use those fire columns to get past those first two stairwells, I guess you could call them. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck behind them in order to constantly take hits.
I was going to say, this is where you use the platform maker again.
Yeah,
Because, again, this is just, why take the damage when you don't need to?
Why even take,
That's a gnarly jump right there you would have to make at the end.
Yeah, and it's a leap of faith. It's back to, like Jimmy said, the leap of faith that Capcom loved to put in of like, well, you're just going to do it. You know?
I don't know why I did that.
But you were showing me how it worked.
Oh, okay.
That was the sequence when you showed me how it worked. Because it's flashing on the screen all the time. It was hard to tell, was it full or was it just the computer glitching up and Jimmy was showing me. It was basically just, it flashes just because it's too much on the screen.
Too much graphics on screen.
Yeah,
Error, overload.
So it's going to just overload. So I just wanted clarification on that. That's the only reason why he did that. Right there.
Ooh.
See, now
What a cowboy.
That all right?
He didn't use
I jumped on that second one because I knew that bullet bill, or whatever the fuck you would call it, is going to avoid me. Here's another perfect use of the freaking platform maker right here.
Again, why? This is all. Why take the risk when?
But now look, he's got him up above too, so you gotta be extremely careful to make sure that you don't
that's
hit
why
you.
I waited to make sure to get it on a low level, because I knew that was going to be coming. But this screen right here is technically the only place you have to use the platform maker to advance.
Because there's no other way out.
And when I was a kid, this is the only time I ever used it. I never screwed around with this thing until I downloaded it for my 3DS. And here comes, in my opinion, this is probably the shittiest boss in the game. There's nothing simple about him. Like, no weapon can break him down fast. As you see, it's the Rockman, the Yellow Devil, whatever you want to call him, but
He's referred to as the Yellow Devil.
this is pretty much pure, just memorization, trial and error. I don't really have a freaking, there's no easy way to get through this. You have to memorize the rock pattern, and you have to try not to take as few hits as possible. Again, I got the pattern down. I screwed up a few times. I know I was getting pretty nervous towards the end, but I mean, this is pure, just trial and error memorization. The one thing I recommend, though, is once the full sequence is done, run away from him and then turn and fire so you can avoid the shot that comes out of the eyeball of the Yellow Devil. So you run away, jump, fire. See, that way the bullet always misses you every time. Because that bullet hits just as much as the rocks do. Yeah, I was fucking up during a couple of these sequences.
The biggest thing you got to learn on this one is the quick jump. That
Right.
little minor jump.
The jump
As you
control.
see,
It's micro jumps, and you got to move forward just a little bit with your jump so the back half doesn't hit you, because the back half where he's forming will still hurt you.
Yeah.
It's like, so really the only place you had to maneuver in this boss is right in the middle, pretty much,
And it's
right
a
on
tight
the edge.
squeeze. And then that fifth one, if you miss, as you saw in the previous sequence, Jimmy made one minor little jump wrong, and that fist hit him. So it's the fine. Even when you think you're in the home stretch.
Yeah,
it's
this
still,
is where I got
still
nervous. It was like, okay, next two hits I gotta freaking do perfect. So I was really getting nervous, but I think I beat him.
Yeah,
I think I beat him.
Those little quick jumps, though, it's what it's all about.
Micro
You
jumps,
have to
yeah.
do a micro jump. If you
Boom.
don't time it right, you're dead.
So you barely tap on the button,
Yeah.
basically.
And believe me, I actually looked up speed runs. There's no way to beat this guy faster. There's no trickery, no bullshit. You just gotta take him on straight up. That's why I consider him to be the crappiest boss in this game. The next bunch of bosses are pretty simple. You can break him down pretty easily.
Well, they do bring him back in Mega Man 3, but he's a little easier because now they give you the slide.
And plus there's like several points in the freaking sequence where you can slide under his rocks, so it makes it a lot easier. But again, even on part 3, you still gotta memorize the pattern a little bit. You gotta know when to slide.
Yeah, the sequence. There's still a sequencing issue with it, but
And I would say he's almost harder on 3 just because you have to use the weapons that really hurt him. Like, you gotta make sure you fire at the right times, otherwise it's gonna miss before the eyeball closes. I believe the hard punch worked the best on him in 3, so and that thing is slow.
It is, yeah.
And this is another weird thing. In all the other Mega Mans, you always had to refight the robots over again. But for some reason, in this Mega Man, you fight 2 on this stage, and then you fight the other 4 on the final stage. Don't ask me why Capcom broke it up on this, but I guess I guess they were bored because frankly, the level design on this level is kind of dull. It just wasn't very impressive.
Oh, maybe they hadn't come up with that idea yet. It's just the original one, and
But actually, it's not as bad as the next Wily stage where they really, in my opinion, dropped the ball on the stage design. But we'll comment on that when we get there.
yeah.
Really, this stage overall isn't too severe. The only thing that's bad is the fact you got to fight multiple bosses so they can drag you down. But see, this time you got the weaknesses, so you can just cut them down fairly easily.
And something you'll notice is his gauge is not refilling as he's going through these things. This is where it gets to the point where previously every time you use the powers, they would regenerate to full. Now you're having to manage them a little bit more. You have to watch how much you use. You got to figure out where those power-ups are so you can refill them. So it's just you have to really start thinking conservatively. Other than that, it's just all sequencing.
And this downward section of the stage, the electric beam works wonders. Because you can basically use the downward shot to take care of most of those, I don't know, what are those eyeball suction cup enemies, whatever the fuck they are.
The moving wall.
Yeah. So you can just fry them. You don't even have to worry about them. Makes it really easy.
Have you ever seen anybody go the outside route on this? Out of curiosity?
I've never tried. Honestly, I think you'll probably end up getting yourself killed at some point or another because like there's spikes at certain sections down below. Unless you know exactly where you're going. Maybe it's faster, but I just don't see the point. I think this is... What was I doing here?
You're switching the... Yeah, I don't think you can do that. As you can see,
Yeah.
right there, you fuck up. I've just never seen anybody go on the outside
So,
route.
I think in the next screen, the next screen is where we take on the Mega Clone. I guess is the best thing to call it.
Yeah, this is a useless boss.
Okay, so what power is it?
Okay, so here's the thing with this guy. Like, I use Fireman's power because of the shield and the fireball. Basically, you want to kind of try, like, again, jump and shoot towards him. If the fireball doesn't hit him, then the shield will hit him when he tries to jump towards you. Sometimes I didn't quite get it right, but basically you kind of want to fire, like, jump and fire. See, like there, I got him in that loop. Every time I jump and fire towards him, he gets a hit, and then he backs off. See, it makes it a little bit easier, but sometimes he'll get on top of you like that.
But the shield comes into play.
Yeah. And I do think that the fireman is the best for this guy. It keeps him at bay.
Because the computer will basically copycat whatever one you're using.
Yeah. He almost mimics your moves too, so that's why it's like, because basically you do the jump and shoot, he tries to jump over, like tries to jump, and then the fireball hits him, and even if the fireball misses him, he jumps right into the fire shield that's spinning around. So it works ideally. And yeah, here's where this has got to be the most easiest and simplistic fucking Wily stage ever. Even when I beat this stage for the first time when I was a kid, I was like, wow, that was it? That was fucking easy. On to the final stage.
It was a touch of a letdown.
There's just depressingly little in this game, in this stage.
Just a series of drops.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
And then a long ass corridor.
Yeah, just a series of drops and that's all it was. And they really didn't. It does seem like they were just kind of like, meh, we'll just throw this in there. Like Capcom's throwing you a bone.
They must have been working on a deadline. They just decided, just give me what you got, you know.
Yeah, just make it quick.
And this is a really easy part here, because the first section of this little water corridor, all I gotta do is run and shoot. You'll hit the enemies every single time. At least with these penguin things.
The Medusa penguins.
And these guys, the bullet bills, I mean, you can shoot them, but you'll probably take a hit, so my advice, jump them.
Right, yeah, they'll probably explode and
they will.
damage
That's why it's
you.
just better to do this.
But you gotta be careful at the very end of this corridor, like it stops speeding up, so you gotta wait for a second so that last one doesn't nail you. Now this boss again is another, like, he might be overwhelming, but he's pretty easy. Stay in the corner where I'm at, and just take shots where you can. He will shoot bubbles at you periodically, but they're really, they're not very difficult to avoid. This is the one that comes down the middle is kind of difficult because you gotta basically kill him before he runs into you, but as you can see, if they come out through either side, they're not hard to beat. And basically, I think it's about right here. Once you get to the halfway point on his life, switch to Guts Man and start using those blocks. Bam, easy. So when they're super fast, all you gotta do is chuck the block and there's a goner. And just like that, it's all over. Nice and simple.
You know, the first time when you first entered the stage with the bubble around him, I thought it was some level of a shield, so I couldn't quite tell because I wasn't checking his life gauge to notice that you were doing damage. So the first time I saw him, I was like, oh, he's got a fucking shield around him. How the hell is he gonna kill this guy? So it was actually kind of, like I said, it was very enlightening to see this part of the game where I'd never seen it before.
And also, usually if they have like a sort of quote-unquote shield, like you'll see the bullets ping off in one way. It'll make it obvious that like the bullets are not going to hit him.
Yeah, right here you waited and killed them all. Made sure that you killed them all before you actually advanced.
Yeah, because there's been times where I tried to get up that ladder before they appeared and they just tagged me, or I fell onto those spikes as a result. So again, that was just my caution. This is another freaking.
This is the homage to Guts Man.
Yeah, right?
I don't know, I always assume, like, I guess this is sort of like Capcom's half-assed attempt to, like, look, here's the Wily robot factory or something.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I looked at it and the first thing I thought was, I even asked Jimmy, I said, do those things fucking come to life or something?
The whole backstory is that Dr. Light built all these robots to help out, the people of this, the society of this, people of this city. Like, Gutsman's like the one that can clear boulders and stuff, and Wily's the one who turned them evil.
Yeah, the whole basis of the game just kind of makes me laugh. It's just a utopia of lazy people. Like, look, we're building robots that'll do all the work for us, so we don't have to.
What do you think Gutsman was built for?
He was the tree cutter.
Oh, okay.
That was actually
He's a gardener.
He was like a tree feller or something.
He's just a
See?
fucking gardener.
Yeah, the Mexicans wouldn't have jobs then because of
even in the future they're
Gutsman.
screwed.
Well, because I think it was in Mega Man 2 or 3, they actually showed like the original robots and like what their purposes were. I remember
saw that.
Fireman was like sort of like the waste reclamation guy, so he'd burn all the garbage and stuff like that. Iceman was really simple. I think he was like the Arctic exploration robot. That's pretty much it.
That's what I'm saying. Like some of them were just.
Oh,
like,
and I missed it. Forgot to mention. Make sure you grab that weird Yashi symbol because it refills everything, your life and your energy bars for your weapon. So you really want to make sure to grab that.
Yeah, so you guys on YouTube, go back.
Right. Yeah.
Rewind.
We're deep in a conversation. We're sorry. But yeah, that is a very, very useful item.
So here's where the other 4 robots catch up. It's pretty much the same as before. Just get their weaknesses out and just fry their asses. The hard part is you have to fight the 4 robots and then Wily right after. I usually had to die on Wily once before I take on the
because life doesn't refill.
Yeah, you're still on that issue of you're running out of lives.
I've seen people do it. I'll do the whole thing. Take on all 5 and beat him, but I knew I wasn't gonna be able to pull it off. So that was like my.
You still did a very
my death right there.
Here's where he tries to show the usage of Bomberman, because just out of curiosity, I was like, what the fuck do you use him for?
Yeah, so, it actually worked against me.
Yeah, I know. Jimmy kind of fucked up on this one because of me, and I felt bad.
Yeah, so you guys don't have to use it.
He's just completely useless. I'm sorry, he really is. This character is just fucking.
He just wanted to show us that there was some use to it, but.
And even then, you still don't.
It was just for exhibition purposes.
Yeah, exhibition purposes only. He's the useless fucking character. It doesn't do, even the bombs don't do shit. I mean, I felt bad.
It's just because it takes so long for them to explode.
God damn it,
I know. That's what I'm saying. It was just for sheer out of my curiosity of how the fuck do you use this guy and what the fuck do you use for? And he's worthless. He's honestly just fucking worthless.
Those who don't know Jimmy's a proud man.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like to die anytime.
When he doesn't need to. Unwarranted. No, in his defense though, he did tell me he could beat him with that power, so that was the reason why he did it. Now there were errors taking place in that one, not on his, but it's just that power, as you see, the time delay on the explosion is
that's
worthless.
What makes it so utterly worthless is like the time delay. If the bomb would have hit him, like if I threw it and it hit him, it would have worked, but the fact that it'll go right through him and you still gotta wait for the explosion on the time delay to hurt him.
Right, so you guys notice he had to go all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah.
So you better make use
of those powers.
Of those powers. You better make use of those powers, because if you keep dying, there's nowhere to recharge
how drained my bars are even at this point. But the good thing is, once you get past the 4 robots, there's a big pellet at the very top, and it comes back every time. And once I beat Gutsman here, that's a new checkpoint. So keep that in mind. As long as you get past the robots, I just grievously fucked up on Bomb Man the first time. on Gutsman here.
Well, you did beat him though this time with the bombs, as you can see. He did manage to defeat him with the bombs.
So that's why you don't use Bomb Man's power, because it's fucking worthless.
It really
Utterly
is.
fucking worthless.
It really is.
And I think I died on Wily here.
Well, you intentionally died on Wily.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have been able to beat him with 4 slivers of life.
Yeah, he intentionally just dives into the fucker. Which games use advantage though, because a fun little thing, that big pill respawns every time you die. So it's right there. So he just advanced his gauge back up even further in order to beat him. I want to say it took you 2 tries to beat him.
I do love how Wily's always got to use some ridiculous over-the-top flying contraption, usually, like, when you take him on. That's one thing I always look forward to, is like, okay, what ridiculous machine has Wily concocted for this final battle?
Right.
So here's the thing with this Wily boss. Basically, Fireman can take out both forms. You want to use the fire shield, get right up on the freaking weak spots and let the fire shield keep hitting the weak spots over and over again. First is that cannon, now it's that little jewel up on the top in front of Wily there. Let the fire shield just keep spinning and hitting it. Usually if you do it right, you'll get 2 hits in with the fire shield, and you should be able to stay ahead of him. I think I just barely managed to stay ahead of him on that one. So ideally you don't want to take too many hits, but...
And it's hard to see when the firing mechanism.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I did fuck up on that one.
Because you got the firing mechanism sequence off on the cannon blast. This was the clean run right here where he just obliterates him. Yeah. Again, but it shows people that even though if you know the sequence, if you make one calculated mistake, just 1 second off, you'll just make that error. You'll die. This was like the cleanest run. He gets in the correct space, avoids pretty much almost every attack. I want to say you only got tagged like once in that sequence.
This is where you really got to get the hits in as quickly as possible.
You got to watch for that shot that comes out though. See, he has the timing down perfectly.
On some of it anyway.
Well, for most of it compared to the other run, you were getting tagged up pretty hard though. This is where you just catch him at the last second.
But yeah, use the fire shield, fry him. Yep, bow down, you fucking German bastard. Sit down. Give me the first of many times.
It was cool. Like I said, I'd never seen it. It was actually very cool to see the end of the game finally after all these years waiting. Granted, there really wasn't much of an ending, but still, hey, it's over. This is NES at its finest, man. You beat the game, and this is what you get at the end. Which is
and look,
next to
honestly,
nothing.
in comparison to like most NES games, this is actually a half decent ending. I would actually, if as a kid, I regard this as a good ending. Because frankly, you were lucky to even get a fucking credits sequence at the end in a lot of these games.
Yeah, there were a lot of Nintendo games that just ended and that was it.
It says the end.
Yeah, the end.
And I was like, what the fuck? What the hell was I doing this for? But
I think it wasn't there some that actually said game over.
Yeah, plenty of them I did.
that's it.
I think I mentioned in a prior episode how there's multiple endings on Clash of Demon Head. You fail on the bomb sequence, but you just get the end. That's it. All those hours wasted for nothing.
I just love in this sequence, just for shits and giggles, as he's running. Eventually, he takes his helmet off, and he's got a full head of black hair,
Yeah.
which made like no sense.
Which I know I feel like I'm right now. I know these guys have accused me when I let my hair grow out long like it is right now. They say I might have Megaman helmet head. I think right here on this name, Enough King, I think that's Keiji Inafune, who has been like the godfather of this series from day one. He's making Mighty Number 9 if he ever fucking gets it out.
It's coming.
I know.
No. They actually did announce it. I was at a GameStop, and they actually said on their monitor that Mighty Number 9 is coming. It will be in stores very soon.
Another little tidbit right here. I always thought it was funny how these guys had all these bizarre ass freaking names, is because basically the game companies used to like to poach each other's employees, so they forced all the freaking employees to basically put their names under pseudonyms or freaking initials to make so people wouldn't know their true identities, so they wouldn't get poached.
Hey man, everything was about proprietary knowledge, and you don't want to let somebody go who's created a game.
And there's a roll.
And one of the few times you see Dr. Light and Roll. Yep.
With his big, long Santa Claus beard. Roll doesn't make another appearance till what? Mega Man.
You never really use her. You never really fight with her. I mean, hell, one of the few games I remember seeing her fight was like Marvel vs. Capcom as a secret code. So that's about it.
All right, so that was it for this video. Hopefully it was useful to you guys. Ours with, actually, we have commentary. You don't see a lot of that. So thanks for watching, guys. Guys, say goodbye.
This is Jimmy. Check you later.
Leave comments if you guys want to see any other games. Post it up there for us. It's back in the day.
All right, this is Betts. Thanks for watching. And that freaking